Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Hola to yet another interesting topic, lesson 10 part 2, which is the continuity of ser versus estar. And I welcome you all to Vamos a Estudiar. Let's study. I hope my videos helps a lot to understand the use of different verbs like ser and estar. And we come across to the second part of that verb, which is the use of estar. For example, we have to use that word yo, to, el, ella, usted. Yo is for myself, like I am. To is for you. El or ella is he or she, or usted is for the purpose of respect or someone who is elder than you. Nosotros is we. Vosotros is those. Ellos is for male, they. Ellas specifically is for female, and ustedes is for they, but in order to giving respect to elder ones, you can use that word. So whenever I am going to use that word yo, then I have to use estoy. The verb estar in terms of I am is estoy, estás. El or ella or usted is está. Estamos is for plural, which is we. Whenever we have to use the group of a people, then we have to use estamos, estáis, and then finally for they, están. Now let's consider its use, that in which particular conditions we are going to use that word. Estar is a verb which expresses that how a person, concept or object finds itself in a place, time, situation, or their mood, health, ongoing actions, opinions, and the feelings that they may have. It is how rather than what. It may be tricky, but you can help yourself learn by remembering these common uses for estar. Whenever you are indulging to give some temporary changes, or you can say in order to represent some temporary conditions, whether the conditions is geographical or physical location, in terms of state or conditions like emotions, which is a temporary part of your life, idiomatic expressions, or progressive tenses, then you have to use the word estar. Let's consider examples that when we are talking about a person. First situation which we come across is that we have to talk about a person. For example, Maria is in a good mood. It's a temporary thing because one's mood always goes on changing throughout the day, and we experience different emotions in one day. So we use estar because we are talking about a condition, and that's a temporary phase of life. So María está de buen humor. H is never pronounced as H. It remains silent, and you can say María está de buen is the good, humor. Second is the situation when talking about the location of an. The stadium is downtown. Here we are referring to the physical location of the stadium, which sounds permanent, but we use estar for locations. Whenever we go for the locations, we have to use the word estar. So estadio is stadium. Está in el centro. Centro is the center. De la ciudad means of the city. City is a feminine thing, so that's why we have to use a verb like la ciudad, and the is of. So el estacio está en el centro de la ciudad. Third situation which come across is a describing a relationship between two peoples, like Carlos and Gabriela are married. So in this situation we are talking about the marital status, which is the right condition at the moment. So Carlos y Gabriela están casados. Casados is married. We are talking about a male and a female, so we have to use a plural form they, which is están. So the verb estar is used in the plural form as están, so están casados. Fourth situation is describing appearances. Like we are on a journey to Australia. So we have to use nosotros. Nosotros is for we. For the plural of estar is estamos. If you recall in your mind, estoy, estás, esta, then estamos, then estáis, and then están. Okay, so recall that in mind that we are, nosotros estamos en un viaje por Australia. Nosotros estamos is for we are in un viaje. Viaje is journey. And whenever you have to use that word J, you never sound it as J, they are pronounced as G. So viaje por Australia, to Australia. I'm giving the subject a current situation which is non-permanent. So let's move towards another situation, marital status, in which we're discussing, which is a non-permanent thing, and hopefully we can hope that it can through, but it's a temporary phase. So she's married. For she, the verb estar is está. So for the feminine, ella está casada. If he is married, then él está casado. Because you know that in Spanish, whenever you have to use the feminine, its ending is with a, and for the masculine, its ending is with o, casado. But for females, it's está casada. So let's move on to another situation, locality and nationality. I'm in Spain. For I am, yo estoy en España. We're talking about the condition, and I'm in a place, country, in the current situation right now. Okay, let's move on to the practice, because in the previous lecture we go through that the revision of the verb ser, and now we accomplish a phase where we come across to a verb estar. So ser, for the revision, I must consider that thing for the occupation and for the permanent changes. We have to use the verb ser. And for the temporary phase, whether we are discussing the location, we are discussing the marital status, we are discussing some, you can say we are discussing some temporary phase, at that position we have to use the verb estar. So otoño dash ingeniero. Ingeniero is engineer. G is pronounced as G. So Antonio él is ingeniero, because ingeniero is it's telling something which is related to occupation. Then you must use that verb ser. So Antonio es ingeniero is the correct one. Second situation is ellos dash en el centro comercial. They are in the center of commercial. So for ellos, because it's a temporary phase, right now they are there, but in the next moment I don't know where they are. So actually for that you have to use ellos están en el centro comercial. Joaquin and Camila dash corriendos. So it's a temporary phase, so you have to use están. El edificio is alto, because you are discussing the physical thing of something, so is alto. Brazil is grande. Andres in Joana dash novios. Novios is like engagement between two. So for that you have to use Andreos son están novios. I think now right now I'm wind up with ser and verb estar. We are coming with get another important verb so that it can help